I've got some really big animals like Norman my tegu and Maya my boa constrictor, both of whom you've met in previous videos. These animals are huge. They're very popular at programs because kids love seeing massive reptiles. But today's video, we're talking about my 5 smallest animals. These animals do not go to programs. I don't really handle them much yet because they're still so small and fragile. Because nothing says get me YouTube video views like a baby episode. To talk about these animals, we need less space than there usually is between you and that means we need to get closer. Okay, too close. Okay, so not quite that close, but we need to get closer than the table typically allows because these animals aren't very big and I want you folks to see them. Because these animals are the titans of the teeny, the masters of the minute, the supreme of the small. Now this video is my 5 smallest animals, not my 5 smallest species, because if I was just going to do an animal video about my 5 smallest species, then this would just be, hey, look at my bugs and spiders. So with this, we're going to do juvenile or adolescent sized animals. These animals will still have some growing to do. They will not be max size yet, and that way we can slip some vertebrates in there. First up is my most recent addition and one of only 2 vertebrates on this list. He's actually the only reptile. I've had him for about a month and a half now, and that is Calcifer, my young little Kenyan Sand Boa. He's about 2 years old or somewhere around there. And sand boas are a very small species of snake to begin with. The males usually, at least for the Kenyans, max out at like 18 to 20 inches. The females can get 2 to 3 feet long, maybe get up to about a pound in weight. Right now, Calcifer clocks in at a whopping 36 grams, and he's probably about 8 inches long. Now, he's really small even for a 2-year-old male, and that's because his previous owner, the one that hatched him out, said that he just would not eat on his own for like almost the first year of his life. So they had to assist feed him for a very long time. And that kind of stunted his growth. He wasn't eating regularly and on his own like all the other snakes from that clutch. So he's kind of just a little bit stunted compared to them. And I'm not sure if he'll ever get that full 18 inches, but even if he doesn't, that's okay because he's awesome. He's a cute little dude and he's going to be a huge hit at my programs. I now present to you the chunkiest of the chunk. This is a little Amazon milk frog, and he is actually my favorite type of frog. I love Amazon milk frogs. They are such a gorgeous, beautifully colored frog. I've got him at an expo last year. When I first got him, he came super, super tiny. He was like the size of my fingernail. He was so small, and he just didn't really seem interested in food, and I had a hard time getting him to eat. But then probably about 5 months ago, something like clicked in him, and he just started destroying food. And now he's actually quadrupled in size just since then, and they're not a huge frog species to begin with. At the biggest, they get like 3 to 5 inches probably in length. And right now he's probably just about 1.5 inches too, so he's still got some growing to do. He's never going to be like Drax, my African giant bullfrog, who I bring to programs and birthday parties and stuff. If he ever goes to a program, it'll probably just be like a static display type of table event where people can look in and see how beautifully colored he is, but no touchy. This next one I'm going to be keeping in the container because she's not really used to being handled just yet. This is a Mexican red knee tarantula, and she's still small. She's got a lot of growing to do. When I first got her 2 years ago at an expo, she was a little sling. She was the size of my pinky nail, and she was super tiny. You couldn't actually see the red knees. They don't develop those until a couple molts in. The first time I saw her red knees was probably her molt from 6 months ago, and she just molt again about a month ago, and now those orange knees are super stunning, and you can see her back hairs and her body starting to get that kind of light orangey cream color. You can't really see through the container, but in the B-roll footage I use, you'll be able to. But she is an absolutely gorgeous tarantula. They're not a massive species like your African or Indian tarantula. She'll probably end up the size of like my rose hair or my golden knee because she is another Central or South American tarantulas, which are what all of my species are. Now, I've worked with some red knee tarantulas that were handleable and some that weren't. Like I said, 2 years I've had her. I've never handled her because I kind of wanted her to get a little bit bigger before I start handling her, and she's definitely never going to shows anytime soon. I definitely want her to get a lot bigger before we start doing that. And I believe the one that was in Home Alone, in the first one, that went on the guy's face and he did that iconic screaming, I'm pretty sure that was a red knee tarantula, but I'll research after this and I'll find out and I'll put it in and post if I was right.
He wasn't.
And even if I can never handle her, she's going to be an absolutely stunning display animal. Now, these last two are cheating a little bit because I don't breed really any of my animals here. I don't breed the reptiles or the mammals or anything like that, obviously not Pepper, but I do accidentally kind of breed two animals that I have, and that's just because I have so many of them to begin with. And the first one is Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Now these are little babies, they're all different sizes and kind of stages. And if you'd like to learn more about the adult ones, you can actually go back and check out our Strangest Animals Part 2 video that I did a few weeks ago if you want to hear some fun facts about Madagascar hissing cockroaches, because they are a very cool species of bug. One of the coolest things about this species is how they give birth. This species takes part in something called ovoviviparity. Basically that means, so most reptiles and bugs, they lay eggs, and these guys have eggs too, except what mom does is they actually keep the eggs inside them, and they'll hatch the eggs inside them, and then out come these free crawling little baby cockroaches that are ready to go. And when they're first born, they don't have the typical kind of orangish coloration that the adults do. They get that as they molt, just like with the tarantula. And these little dudes are so small. They are just escape experts because they can climb just about any surface. They can weasel their way and wedge their way out of just about any kind of container. So what I do is with the little ones is I put them in this kind of nursery cup here, and then once they're big enough, I put them over with the adults. And there's other techniques you can use. Like I know some people take I forget what the actual stuff is, but you can put a ring around a tank up higher up so that they actually can't climb across that. But I've never gotten around to it. Now, number one is actually so small, I'm not even sure if they're going to pick up on the camera, but these are little baby walking stick bugs. You've got one there and one there, one on each end of the stick, and I've actually got an adult right here on my chest. And these were actually in our very first ever YouTube video, 5 of our Strangest Animals Part 1, if you want to go back and check that out and learn more facts about these dudes. Now, this species does lay eggs. Mom's going to lay the eggs, and they'll fall all the way from the top of the tree down into the leaf litter. And with that leaf litter, the eggs are going to hide in there, and they're going to kind of be camouflaged, and then they're going to hatch, and the little babies will climb back up the tree. And as they go to molt, what they're going to do is they're going to hang upside down just like this one, and they're actually going to crack open along the back, and they're going to fall out of their old skin. They're going to let gravity kind of do most of the work, and then probably 8 to 10 molts, they're going to start looking a lot closer to this one. They're a very cool little species of bug. They're very popular at programs, and these are western short-horned walking stick bugs. You'll find those out in Southern California, New Mexico type area. Walking sticks are really found all over the planet, except for Antarctica, obviously, but you'll find them in Australia, Asia, a whole bunch of places, all different species, and they get from this size. There are some walking sticks that get 1.5 feet long. So these guys, again, like a lot of the animals I'm talking about today, they're not a very big species to begin with. So those were my 5 smallest animals. I hope you folks liked the baby episode and found it cute. Like I said, even my largest bugs and spiders would still be smaller than just about all of my vertebrate animals, so maybe at some point I'll do my 5 smallest species video. Like the video if you learned something. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our animal videos that I post every week. Comment down below which of the babies you found the cutest. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you later. Go back. No, get back in the cup. Where are you going? Get back in the cup. Get back in the cup. Thank you. Oh, no. All right, come on. You had fun on my back. Get off. No. Get off my back. Get off my back. I know, you just walked around my entire back because I couldn't reach you. Thank you.